Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do kind of one of my talking about whatever discussion videos. I'm going to talk again about library books. The reason I want to bring this up is that I want to know if other people are doing what I'm doing. So, okay, BookTube is a great place. I love how many, I watch a lot of different people and they read things that I do not read. You know, like, so I get recommendations from all different kinds of people and all different kinds of books and different genres and things, and I want to read a lot of them. I admit, I am very eclectic in my reading. I do try to pick up a lot of different things. I'm not scared to try different things. There's only a few, I would say, certain things that I don't want to read about, and then there's certain kind of characters that I don't like, you know, so I know those kind of things. But there are a lot of books out there that I would like to try that I've heard about on BookTube. So, like a lot of you, I make lists of books, either to look at them to buy or to borrow. So, I don't know where my line is where I decide it's a buy book, that I want to buy it, or if it's one I want to get from the library, but I do try to borrow books that I'm kind of iffy about, that I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy that book, because, you know, I don't want to waste all my money. So here's the thing. So I go through phases, and as I said, I do this every year. I seem to get a buildup where all of a sudden I am focusing on getting everything from the library. And again, in some ways it's nice because it does save me money, because I'm not buying books. I sometimes still buy books at the same rate I normally do, but most of the time when I'm doing I'm getting stuff from the library because I'm not sure I want to buy it, or they're too new, they're hardbacks, and I'm not buying hardbacks, except for I have like 3 authors I buy hardbacks for, and everything, or yeah, and nobody else, and so I don't like hardbacks. But the library is great. You know, again, it's a great resource for getting books that maybe you don't want to buy or you can't buy. So I totally acknowledge that. I love the library for that. My problem is that I go through phases where I ask for too much. So right now I have out from the library 9 things. So one of them is an audio CDs that are in my car, which I'm actively listening to, so I'm not worried about that one. And I have a book that is technically the audio book. It's the book that I want to look at when I'm listening to the audiobook I'm going to listen to after the audio CDs. So I have, you know, I have the books just because I like to look at them. At the same time, I have an audiobook, even though I have the audiobook. I like to have the book there too sometimes, to see if there's anything extra in it. So, I mean, like, those ones are normal. I'm trying to keep up an audiobook at all times in my car, which has been really good. But I have that means I have 7 other books that are like sitting on my couch, because that's where I store a lot of my library books, because, you know, there's space. There's space on the couch. Either that or on the bookshelf close by. And it has I have 9 books that, you know, have a time limit, and I really think the time limit is the issue here. So the 9 books I get, like, there's a historical fiction, or a couple historical fictions, and a fantasy, and kind of a weird contemporary, and maybe a couple other books. And it's just like, so they're all different kinds of things. You'd think that would make it easier for me to pick another book to read, but I have a lot of books that I own that I want to read as well. So I am definitely one of those people who is a mood reader but also tries to plan my reading. Like, I try to think a little ahead what I'm going to read. So I have these plans, like, I'd like to get to this book now, and it doesn't always happen, of course. My TBRs show that. But I'm trying to get better about picking books I really want to read and trying to get through stuff I own. But I still like getting stuff from the library, especially stuff that I want to try, or everybody's talking about, and I didn't want to buy it, or it was hardback and I didn't want to pay for that. But I'm in that period where, again, I've gotten too many things out of the library. So I think, as I said, the biggest problem for me is the time limit. I need time to maneuver and how to mood read stuff. And As I said, I have TBRs that I fail at miserably many times. But some of those books will reappear a couple months later on another TBR, and I'll get it read right away because now I'm ready for it. And I feel, in some ways, that is the one problem with library books, is that I don't get that space to decide when I get to read it. I have to read it when it's here. Now, there are some books that I could totally not get from the library until I'm ready for them. All the backlist books that, are going to be on hand. It's no big deal. New releases are really what I'm having trouble with right now. I seem to be, as I said, I got on a lot of holds lists because everybody had their highly anticipated 2019 lists. And I had a couple on there myself, but it's still one of those things where I think I'm overextending how much I think I'm going to get to read by getting the library books as well as reading what I have physically. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that my eyes are bigger than what I can read. Like I have a huge collection here at home. I really could go years and never buy or borrow another book. And it is, that's a privilege I have, and I have built this collection for a couple decades, so it's not like it just happened overnight. But a lot of these books I still want to read, and a lot of them I bought last year that I want to read. Again, I'm still attracted to the library because, again, I totally believe in the library and I think everybody should use the library, but I also know that I've as I said, I've gotten too many. So this kind of came to a head this week when stress has been pretty high at work. It's our busy season. This is nothing new. It's not like this happens every year. It's not anything I wasn't prepared for. But, it always affects my reading because I get to the point where I don't want to read too many new things. And that's what I'm just discovering, that I have to stop asking for the new releases until I'm ready for them. Like there's a couple of authors like, no, when that book shows up, I will read that. Like you get me one of the Simon R. Green books. I don't care when that pops up. If it shows up in my library, I will get it and I will read it within a day or two. He is one of my favorite authors. I don't have any problem with knowing I'm going to read his book. I won't have a timeline issue for me on that because I know that his books are quick and I know that I could get through it. So that's a different thing. But talking to like a new epic fantasy. So why this all came up is because I got Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. And I have been looking forward to reading this because I've heard a lot of things about it. My problem is my mind right now is not ready for this. And I've talked about this in my weekly reading update, that it's so intricate. There's so much stuff going on in the first, I only read 40 pages. But I already know this is not the time to read this book. This book is over 600 pages. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a great fantasy, and it has so many new elements I really want to dive into. But the problem is I don't have the mind capacity to do it right now. Work is crazy. I won't get to read as much because I'll be tired when I get home. I'll be working more hours. I'll want to come home and just kind of veg, and to focus on a book like this is not going to happen. And I have another book coming, The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. I'm going to get that this week because, again, they both came out on the 5th, and I thought, I wanted to get them as soon as possible, but they're too close together, first of all, for two epic fantasies beginnings of the series. So I don't know how, and again, I haven't read that one yet, so I don't know how that writing style is. Again, this one I'm definitely going to probably pick up when it comes out in paperback, if I don't pick it up from the library again, but I can't read this right now. I'm not going to read The Ruin of Kings right now either. I think when I get it, I'll probably read the couple of chapters and see how I feel about that one and decide if that one's I'm going to either put for later in a couple months when, it's kind of died down at the library, or I'm going to wait till it's paperback and then get it. I can't do it all. And I feel like the library books pressure me to read stuff I'm not ready to read. And I think that is my biggest deal. And I think that is why a lot of times I don't get along with readathons and read-alongs that are specific with certain books. Sometimes I'm ready to read that book and I want to read that, but other times I'm like, it's just, I'm not ready. I don't have the brain capacity, or I don't have the feeling, like the joy to read that at this time, and it would just be a chore, and I don't want that with my reading. My reading, I want to have fun. I want to learn something. I want to be taken on an adventure. I want all those things, but I don't want it to be like a chore, as if I'm back in college and I had to read those. Even though some of those books were awesome, it was still a chore because I had to do it to a timeline. And I think that's really my thing, is I'm really, I believe in timelines. I'm a planner. I'm a scheduler. I have always thought in time, things of, time, but I'm also a huge procrastinator on everything I don't want to do. And I'm finding the library books are not what I want to do right now. So here's what I think I'm going to do. Like I did last year, I am going to return all my library books. But I am going to read all the first chapters and try to decide if they're books that I want to either put on a list, like a physical list off to the side, maybe even my book journal, and just say, these are the library books I'd like to get at some point later this year, maybe when I'm not so stressed out at work, that I want to try again, that I want to find used, or I want to wait till they're in paperback, and maybe wait and just come back to them later and try them again. I don't, of all these books, of the what did I say, the 7 that are here, only one of them I might pick up before I take back, which is The Bus on Thursday by Shirley Barnett. But I also might just read a couple more pages and decide I want to buy this book and just be done, and then I won't have to worry about that either. So we'll see. Another book, I know for sure one of them I might put on a used list that I want to go look for at at Powell's next time I'm there. I think that sometimes I just need to clean the slate sometimes. And the library it put pressure on me because there's a timeline, and you have 3 weeks. And I don't always get to the books in 3 weeks. And sometimes, yeah, you can check them out for another 3 weeks, but sometimes you can't. And I always feel bad when I keep something too long. And again, I don't like to have overdue books and everything. And I know this book, there are so many people waiting to read this. So I will return this book. When I get the Ruin of Kings, I'll probably read that and return it the next day, just to let somebody else read it who wants to read it right now. Because I'm not ready for them. And I had to come back and think about this. And I love shopping at the library. I love ordering stuff there and going and picking up and it being ready for me, and I love all that. It's just right now I'm doing it too much, too often, bringing too many books home that I'm not going to get to, and I just return them, disappointed that I didn't get to them, or I mean, some of them I'm glad I tried them and go, well, that book wasn't for me, but I don't always try them. A lot of times they just go back, and I just need to calm it down. And I really do want to read more books off my shelf this year. I'm not doing as well on that as I was hoping. Although I'm doing a lot of good DNFing, so which will be a whole other video if I get to that. Anyway, that's kind of my little talk on the library. I don't know, maybe it's more rambling than I'd like to be. How do you guys deal with your library? Like, if you buy books and are reading a mixture of library books and your physical books, how do you guys deal with that? How do you deal with the timelines? As I said, I am at my core a mood reader. And when it comes to when I'm busy at work, the first thing that goes is any library books, because I usually am picking up either a reread or something that I think is lighter, or something that's not going to pressure me. Like, it'll be, I don't want that extra pressure that a library book has. And so my tendency is to pick up something else, and usually something I own that I don't have to rush to read to finish and turn it in. So, I don't know. So what do you guys do with your library? Are you guys, do you guys go through that too, where you've asked for too much and you're just not going to get to it? Or do you feel guilty as the stack gets bigger and you still haven't finished any of them? What do you guys think? Anyway, I think I'm going to go delete all my holds, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.